Hello, welcome back. Rigel Smith here, and today I'm going to teach you about biohacking with doTERRA. And biohacking is basically how to live well and healthier longer. So our lifespans are increasing. We are living longer, but not necessarily more healthy for a longer period of time. So my focus is to inspire and help people to live as healthy as possible for as long as possible. And really the inspiration for this video came when I woke up this morning, and I woke up and today is my birthday. I'm 40 years old and I feel better today than I have in my 20s or my 30s. I feel vibrant and alive. My cognition is amazing. I can feel all the little neurons connecting. I'm learning new things. I have lots of energy. I don't take naps. My skin looks better than it did in my 30s, even my 20s, because in my 20s I had pretty significant acne. I have more hair. My hormones are chilled out. And I was just inspired to share with you some of the things that I do. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that I do is what this channel is all about. So I started to educate people about wellness and doTERRA in 2011 when I started to use it, and it was on my own personal health journey. Even though I was only in my 20s, I was having some significant health challenges. I was losing my hair, my skin was acting erratically, my emotions were a huge pendulum. You didn't know where I would be from day to day. I was tired. I was sneaking off on my lunch break to take a nap in my car because I couldn't make it through a whole shift. And I didn't feel good, and I was young, and I was working with a holistic healthcare practitioner and an amazing chiropractor who taught me that there are a lot of lifestyle changes that we can make that will change the trajectory no matter what our genetics are. And she said if I kept going on the path I was on and not changing anything, that I would develop an autoimmune disease. I had all the biomarkers, but I could do something to change that. And I've been on this path of wellness ever since. So I'm going to share with you some of the biggest things that made a difference in my life. I guess the new term is biohacking. This is something I just learned about the term last year, but we've been biohacking for millennia, those of us who have been working on our health and things that we can do. But the official definition I found online, this is one of them. This is from ChatGPT. It says, biohacking is the practice of making intentional lifestyle changes, often involving the use of technology, science, and holistic approaches to optimize and enhance one's mental, physical, and emotional well-being. It involves taking an active role in manipulating or hacking biological systems to achieve desired outcomes, such as improved health, increased longevity, enhanced cognition, and overall wellness. And this is something that's really important to me because prior to doTERRA, I was an occupational therapist and I worked with the aging community. And people would come to me when they needed physical rehab after an injury, a surgery, a life event. And I noticed that some people in their 90s, or even some in their hundreds, could have a faster, more effective rehabilitation than somebody in their 50s and 60s for the same thing. It could be a knee replacement or a stroke or something. And it often had to do with how they were taking care of their health for decades prior to the incident, and also mindset, which I'll touch on a little bit. And for me, I want to live a long time genetically. My great aunt, her birthday was yesterday, and she just turned 104, and her sister was 105 when she finally passed. And they taught me about the importance of nutrition and healthy food. They were farmers. They ate, butter and bacon and fresh meats and fresh veggies, and really just cut out some of those processed foods and just lived really happy and active lives as long as possible. So I'm going to share with you what I'm doing and what I think made the biggest difference from 39 to 40. And it is doTERRA's newest product. You've probably heard me talk about it before, but I think it's worth mentioning again, and it's really, like I said, made a huge jump because I was doing a lot of things prior, and then this year when I started to use the Metapower, I started to notice things very quickly. So if you're familiar with doTERRA's Metapower Advantage, this is a collagen product, and when doTERRA first started talking about a collagen product, I thought, okay, great, I love collagen, I take it every day. I get sometimes from Costco or the grocery store or online, or I have people I know that sell different types of collagen. I've taken lots of different versions of collagen over the years, And I've never really noticed a difference, but I know it's supposed to do things, so I would take it and I would add it to my matcha tea and things like that. So I learned about the doTERRA collagen, and it was marketed as something that would help with biohacking, so help us to live younger, more energy, more vitalized for longer, so better years. And I noticed a difference right away. So what I noticed right away, within a few days, my skin was softer. I was washing my face and I was like, what is this? It kind of feels, like a baby's butt, just super smooth. My husband noticed my skin felt smoother, and that was within a few days. And then after a week or so, I noticed that I started to have more energy. So I do love naps, but I haven't taken a nap in almost a year, which is crazy if you know me, because I do like a good nap, but I don't feel like I need naps anymore. I feel energized. Sometimes if I'm tired, I'll just lay down for a moment in the afternoon and want to take a nap, and it's hard, it doesn't come to me. So I just kind of rest and then keep going. I noticed also, it felt like the creative channels in my brain were firing again. So sometimes as we age, sometimes those synapses, if we're not using them as much, they slow down, especially when you are even older, 60, 70, 80, and this works at all ages. It doesn't matter where you are, you start at the age you are. Right now is the perfect time, or even if you're younger. But what I noticed is this really enhanced focus, like this calm, gentle focus. It wasn't an anxious energy. It wasn't, I have to get this all done. It was just very calm and focused energy. And kind of like when I was in my 20s, I remember being in graduate school and just being able to absorb new information and learn it very, very quickly. And as I got older, sometimes it would just take more to learn the same material. And when I started to take this, I noticed that I could process things quickly again. It's kind of interesting because even though I guess I'm considered now at 40 middle-aged, funny to be middle-aged, I feel middle-aged in life experience. I have a 7-year-old, I'm gonna be a grandma this year. I've had a lot of successes in career and business, but I definitely don't feel middle-aged in my body or in my mind, and this has helped with that too. I also noticed a difference in my body composition. So I am a huge proponent of, movement every day and physical exercise. I was going to the gym and eating the same thing when I started taking this. So pretty healthy lifestyle. I would go to the gym, I'd work out, I'd do spin class, walk around, do yoga. And what I noticed after a couple months of taking this is that my body composition started to change because I was doing, there was a body fat scale at the gym, and I'm just focused on feeling good and being healthy. I don't have any weight goals or even, tone goals or muscle goals. It's just to feel healthy, but I would do the body fat scale. And I noticed after, I think it was 6 to 8 weeks, I'd have to go back in my notes and look, but I noticed that my body fat percentage started to change and it started to decrease. So the squishy spots on my hips and kind of on my belly started to decrease. And then I started to feel more muscle on my butte and other places, and I could see it reflected in the body fat scale and not necessarily on the weight. So my weight wasn't changing, which wasn't my goal. I wasn't looking to lose or release any weight, but it was changing the composition, which I was excited about. A lot of people who start the Metapower Advantage, they do notice body composition changes, and many people do notice healthy weight release if that's something that you're working on. Not everyone. I tell people that Metapower works on helping to take you to your next level, and sometimes your priority is to shed some of those extra pounds, but sometimes it's not your body's priority yet, and it requires the nutrients to work on something else. Maybe the body's priority is hormones. You give your body what it needs, it's gonna work where it's supposed to. Maybe it's blood sugar regulation, maybe it's some type of repair within your body, maybe it's emotional support. So give this time a minimum of 90 days to start to notice what you're feeling. So if it's not the weight release, what are you noticing? Is your hair thicker? Is your vision shifting? Funny thing, I have had to go to the eye doctor 2 times since starting this last September, and both times he has decreased my prescription because my vision is improving. And prior to that, it was getting worse by 0.25 every visit for years, as long as I can remember. So I had to go back. I could tell midway through, about 6 months in, that my vision had shifted. And so he actually decreased the prescription for me. He said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up. And so I am. Some other things that people notice, like I mentioned, kind of a shift in emotions. So some people notice more patience or increased cognitive function. Some people notice a shift in hormones, definitely the hair, skin, and nails, joints, joint discomfort sometimes decreases. So lots of things. So the way it works is it's these little packets, and you just take one of these a day. You just open up the packet, you put it in a glass of water. I brought a glass, but I don't have it anymore. And you just put it in about that much water, not a ton, and you just mix it up and take it like a shot. It's designed to be taken within 1 minute of mixing for the highest efficacy. And this is activated by you. Some of the good quality collagens, they'll come in liquid form, so they'll be mixed with sugar or liquid, and they're kind of big and bulky. This reduces the waste, and there's no added sugar. It's activated by you. So that's one of the things that makes it unique. And I do like the flavor, but doTERRA is going to come out with some different flavors and even some unflavored, because not everybody does like the flavor. But the people who don't like the flavor, I tell them just take it like a shot. Like we've all had worse things that do less for our body, or actually are not good for our body. Just get it down. So just a shot, take it. But like I said, I do like the flavor. I think my body actually kind of craves it. And it has different collagens in there. So there's 9 strains of collagens. I'll show you what kind are in there, because it's very unique to doTERRA. Most on the market will have 1 or 2 strains of collagen that will work on one type of thing. But there are 9 strains here. And I'll have this written up in the blog post below so you can actually see this, because I know you can't really see it on here. But it has all the collagen chains, and some of them are going to be designed for your hair, but some are going to be designed for bones and joints. Okay, some of them are going to help to stabilize the other types of collagens. Some work with muscle function, cell membranes, and oxidative stress. We have things that work with growth plates, joints, discs. We have some collagen that supports normal brain aging. And then the skin, like I had mentioned before, so hair, skin, and nails. This is from, like I mentioned, 9 types of marine-based collagen out of Italy, and it is tested for heavy metals, which I found out later that a lot of collagens, including some that I were using, have heavy metals, and that's something we don't want to add to our body. So no heavy metals. And then it is 12 times more bioavailable by the body than most collagens. So when I was picking collagen products, sometimes I would look at the protein, and that's not really the best indicator of a good collagen product. So there is the protein listed here, but you're gonna get 12 times more bioavailability. So what's important is that your body is absorbing and utilizing the collagen. It also has added vitamin C, biotin, and some other really cool things in here, including NMN. So NMN is something I learned about that they've been using with professional athletes for decades. And it's a supplement that helps to enhance their performance. It starts to decrease in our 20s, and it ages us as it decreases. So it's one of the biohacking supplements that people take to increase their performance. And so that's something that I noticed with this, as I was having that sustained energy throughout the day. And something important to note about NMN, when it's a straight up supplement, there can be some conflicting research where it's not as good for you. But this is food-based, so it's created and food-based, which has been shown to be effective. The NMN supplements, the FDA is starting to regulate, and I think even pull supplements, but they're not doing that with the food-based, because that's what your body uses. It doesn't have the adverse effects, and it is almost like feeling, I don't know, reversing the clock. It's kind of fun to feel. Like I mentioned, my brain feels like it's in its 20s again. My body feels better than it did in its 20s, and I just feel vital and energized. So those are a few of the things that I've noticed with the Metapower. I'll share a few more just biohacking tips that are just good overall things that you can implement. And my hope is that you implement even just one of these. And I was rereading this week a book called Atomic Habits. And in Atomic Habits, they show how just 1% change every day is going to put you on this trajectory for success. And I pulled up this little chart from the website, and it's not showing. I'll put it up in my blog post for you. But the chart shows that you make a 1% change, and you do 1% difference every day. and the trajectory goes up, 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 up. And it's just tiny change every day. It could be drinking more water. It could be taking your collagen. It could be choosing to go for a walk every day versus the 1% of not doing that every day and how it goes down. But it was a really cool visual to see that that 1% change really can make a huge difference. So some other little tips, I would say some of the biohacking things that's made a big difference in my life is something so simple as moving every day, intentional movement. So whether that's a full-on exercise or cycling or just as simple as a walk. I saw a really inspirational post from my friend Elsie the other day on Instagram, and she was celebrating her dad, who years and years ago decided to walk every day for 100 days. And then it kept going. He never stopped, kind of like Forrest Gump. He just kept going and going. And he celebrated his 10,000 day of walking in a row. He hasn't skipped a day despite living in cold Minnesota winters or being sick every single day for 10,000 days. He hasn't skipped what he calls health walks, and that's a commitment he made to himself. Another thing that we can do is prioritize sleep. So our body repairs when we sleep. And if you're struggling with sleep, I have multiple videos and YouTube videos, blogs, that I'll link in this current write-up of this biohacking post of how to enhance your sleep. So if that's something you struggle with, check out my sleep info. Minimizing stress. When we're stressed, it sends cortisol through the body. It helps, it ages us with stress. So I have some information that I'll link with essential oils and including lifestyle things we can do to help maintain and minimize our stress levels. Also, reducing toxins. This is a huge one, and a lot of my content revolves around this, is how can we swap things that are toxic in our environment that we use every day and decrease the toxic load in our body. And one of the things that holistic chiropractor taught me when I was going through all this stuff, these health challenges in my 20s, was looking and reading labels on bottles and swapping out my skincare and my lotion and my shampoo and my cleaning products for things that were not going to harm my body. And our body is designed to process toxins. They're around us everywhere. So we don't have to worry about being exposed, but we can, in our own home, decrease that as much as possible. And she taught me the analogy of a bucket, that our body collects these toxins because they're all around us, it's okay. But when we have too many, or our body is too stressed to deal with it, this bucket overflows, and that's what causes leaky gut or autoimmune diseases or acne and different things. So ditch and switch. I have lots of information about that, including free ebooks. Another thing is to sweat daily. So I'm a big fan of infrared sauna. You can go to a gym that has one. You could, of course, if you have the resources to put one in your home, that's a great idea. But a gym membership is relatively low cost investment to be able to get some of those benefits. Cold plunges. There's a lot of information about taking these cold dips in the morning, which I'll post more information about that on my blog. Another thing that is really something I feel passionately about is what you say to yourself. And this is something I learned in my NLP training, which is neuro-linguistic programming. It's a way to help use your words very intentionally, because the words that we say out loud or even to ourselves are training our subconscious what to do. So when my patients would say, oh, I can't do that because I'm getting old, or I'm so old and my joints are old. And I would tell them very respectfully that aging is not a disease, right? And so what can you tell it? What do you want your body to do? Let's tell our body to do that and recognize that there is pain and there were things that we would need to do to manage pain. But instead of just saying, oh, so old, they would talk to their body and tell their body what they wanted it to do instead. And that works for everyone, for lots of things, not just our health. So watch what you say to your body, because our subconscious doesn't know when you're serious and when you're kidding. It's very literal interpretation of what you tell it. So be wise with what you tell it. Another thing is gut health. I have lots of information about gut health, and I'm actually going to, after doTERRA's convention at the end of September, focus a new session on the microbiome and the importance of the microbiome. So stay tuned for that. And then two more little things. Supplementation. So you've heard me talk about LLV. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm not going to dive deep into this. but our body needs supplements because we're not getting everything from our diet. So I'll link this blog post and the video. And then the final thing, which is so simple, is to drink more water. You've probably heard it before, but be really intentional with your water intake. Our bodies are over half water. And when it's dehydrated, it can't do its basic functions like detox the body. It can affect our gut health, our sleep, our emotions, so many things, because a lot of things are linked within our body. So one of the little things that I like to do with my water, this is kind of a side note, and I learned this from my holistic chiropractor. Sometimes I'll just put in a little pinch of Celtic sea salt, not table salt, but specifically Celtic sea salt, because it has a lot of trace minerals in there, including multiple types of magnesium. And this is something good to do when you're drinking a lot of water, because you can actually flush out too many of your electrolytes when you're first starting to drink all this water, and then you feel dehydrated even though you're drinking so much. So that's a cute little trick that she taught me. You can even squeeze half a lemon in there. You could also put in the Metapower oil or lemon oil, citrus oil from doTERRA that are safe for ingestion to help activate and start those detox channels going. So load up on the water. So those are a few thoughts at 40 years old of what I've learned in my life experience, what has helped me. I'm hoping I could inspire you to take that 1% change. I would love to hear below what is something that you would like to implement or are implementing already to increase your vitality and energy and live better longer. Of course, if you need any doTERRA products, you can get those from my website on blistmama.com on my shop page, which I'll link below, and I'll see everyone next time. Thanks for watching.